What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some great news as the Dazn streaming platform has demanded that two-time middleweight world champion, who is the former unified middleweight world champion, and he's currently the IBF and IBO middleweight reigning world champion currently right now, Gennady Triple G Golovkin, face off against undefeated two-division world champion, who is currently the WBO reigning middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Okay, according to reports, we know that Gennady Golovkin, well, he signed a huge lucrative deal with Dazn. They gave him big money, guaranteed him big money per fight. Okay, and Dazn is not willing to sanction Gennady Golovkin facing off against low-level opposition for big money. Where did we hear this before? We heard this with four-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who is currently the unified super middleweight world champion, superstar boxer, Canelo Alvarez. Okay? Canelo Alvarez, he had the same issue. Gennady Golovkin, 41 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. The loss came to Canelo Alvarez. The draw came to Canelo Alvarez. 36 wins by way of knockout. He's 39 years of age. He stands at 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring was December of 2020, last year, when he took on Kamil Zermenta. He got a stoppage victory. Prior to that, he fought against Sergey Derevyanchenko. That was in 2019. So he fought once in 2020, twice in 2019. But he's since signed a big lucrative deal with Dazn. And Canelo Alvarez, he has plans. Gennady Golovkin, he was signing with Dazn in hopes of getting a trilogy match, in which he felt he won the first 2 fights against Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez was signed to Dazn when two-time super middleweight WBC Mexican superstar boxer David Benavidez lost his belts on the scale. Okay, when he lost his belt on the scale, Canelo Alvarez petitioned to fight Avni Yildirim, who was his sparring partner for the vacant WBC title. Dazn was unwilling to approve of that fight, okay? And we know the rest is history. Canelo, he then petitioned to leave Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya. He got out of his deal, and then he came back doing a co-promotion deal with Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, back on a fight-by-fight basis on Dazn. So, and he still fought Avni Yildirim, but it was a mandatory challenge, okay? And he fought Caleb Smith instead, who was the undefeated WBA super middleweight world champion, British superstar boxer, in a unification bout for the WBC and the WBA. Then Dazn, they gave him a pass, and they allowed him to fight Avni Yildirim, because then he also had a unification bout scheduled between himself and undefeated two-division world champion British superstar boxer, who was the WBO super middleweight champion, in Billy Joe Saunders. So they allowed him to fight Avni Yildirim that fight. Okay, Gennady Golovkin, he faced Zermata in his last fight, and the Dazn is not willing to allow him to do so again with lackluster fights and accept big money. Demetrius Andrade, 30 wins, no losses, no draws, 18 wins by way of knockout. He's 33 years of age, stands at 6 feet tall with a 73-inch arm reach, okay? So he has a 3-inch height advantage over Gennady Golovkin, and he has a 3-inch arm reach advantage over Gennady Golovkin, and he's 6 years younger than Gennady Golovkin. Last time we saw him in the ring was April of this year, when he took on and defeated Liam Williams via unanimous decision. So with that said, Dazn is unwilling to continue to pay Gennady Triple G Golovkin big money if he's not going to fight the best opposition. Okay, now we know he wanted to do a deal where he would see him fight on the same card as Murata. Okay, Murata is the WBA middleweight reigning champion. Okay, so Murata and Gennady Golovkin had plans to fight on the same card, and then in the end of the year in December, they would fight each other December 31st to celebrate, Asian holiday. With that said, Dazn is unwilling to allow Gennady Golovkin to fight on a card with Murata against a lackluster performer, a lower tier fighter, and they pay him big money. So now Dazn is pushing for him to either fight Demetrius Andrade, or possibly they're looking to, probably get out of their deal. And Gennady Triple G Golovkin at 39 years of age stands to lose big money. There's no other platform, no other network that's going to pay Gennady Golovkin at 39 years old and not willing to fight the best big money per fight. I believe he gets somewhere between $20 to $25 million a fight. This is similar to what Canelo Alvarez was getting. He was getting $30 million, $32 million a fight, and didn't want to fight the best opposition so that DAZN can get a return on their investment. So they were unwilling to do so, and now they're unwilling to do so with Gennady Triple G Golovkin. They partnered with him. He has his own promotional company, Gennady Golovkin Promotions, Golovkin Promotions, Triple G Promotions. They partner with DAZN. He has his fights on their network, and they pay him big money, per fight. But they're not looking to pay him big money to fight Sermadas. Those are the level of those types of opposition. They want him to fight the best. So they're pushing for him to fight Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. So Demetrius Andrade, he took to social media and he tweeted out, "Big drama show." He said, "Big drama show coming soon." He's referring to him facing off against Gennady Triple G Golovkin. This is what Demetrius Andrade had to say. You can see right here on Instagram, he puts "big drama show" right there. So indicating that he's going to be facing off against Gennady Triple G Golovkin in his next fight. That's huge news, right? Because we know, that Gennady Golovkin in that fight with Sergey Derevyanchenko, he didn't look his best. He absolutely looked like, Father Time not only tapped him on the shoulder, but walked him down the street. And I thought he personally lost that fight against Sergey Derevyanchenko. He still got the nod, but I personally thought he lost that fight in Madison Square Garden. I thought Sergey Derevyanchenko, he hurt Gennady Golovkin a few times. He looked slow. His reflexes looked like they weren't there anymore. And he looked like, he should not have gotten the nod. Nonetheless, he got the nod because of the namesake, You don't want to pay a guy that much money, and he's losing to Sergey Derevyanchenko, But now, prior to the fight, even Gennady Golovkin, he says that this is going to be a very, very tough fight, probably the toughest fight of my career. And it turned out to be just that, But now, Demetrius Andrade against Liam Williams, he looked like he was vulnerable as well. He got hurt in the fight with Liam Williams as well. So he looked vulnerable, He was hurt a few times badly. In the third round, he was hurt badly. Now, he did drop Liam Williams. He did hurt Liam Williams. He was outboxing Liam Williams. He was hitting him with big, clean uppercuts. But still in all, he looked vulnerable himself. So with that said, there's no guarantee that either guy's going to win the fight. Now, skill-wise and youth-wise and just the abilities of Demetrius Andrade being a southpaw that's very rangy, has quick feet, has boxing ability, and he has power, high ring IQ, that is the type of style that would give Gennady Golovkin trouble. Gennady Golovkin is the pressure fighter who's very technical, but at times, right, he could be very hesitant. I thought he personally lost both the fights to Canelo Alvarez, but, the first fight ended in a draw, second fight ended in Canelo Alvarez getting a nod. I like Canelo Alvarez's accuracy. I like what Canelo Alvarez was doing better, and I favorite Canelo Alvarez. But there's a lot of the boxing world that felt like Gennady Golovkin should have gotten a nod in both those fights. If that is the case, Gennady Golovkin doesn't have a loss on his resume, He don't have a draw on his resume. That's the only loss, and that's the only draw on his resume. That's the only blemish on his resume. Floyd Mayweather is the only... Floyd Mayweather's the only blemish on Canelo Alvarez's resume, Now, he has two draws. The one with Gennady Golovkin, and very early in his career, he had a draw. But the loss is from Floyd Mayweather, So with that said, this would be a huge fight. It's a unification bout. The WBO title of Demetrius Andrade be on the line, and the IBF title of Gennady Golovkin would be on the line. This is huge, right? Because we know undefeated two-division world champion who currently is the WBC reigning middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Jamal Lyons Only Charlo, he's been trying to campaign to get a fight with Gennady Golovkin in a unification bout himself, But if he's unable to do so, he seemed to be reluctant to agree to start to negotiate for a fight with Demetrius Andrade. Initially, he stated after his fight this past weekend against Montiel, where he looked vulnerable as well. He got hurt a few times in the 8th and 9th round badly, surprisingly, because he was a huge favorite over Montiel. But nonetheless, he looked vulnerable. After the fight, post-fight, he was asked about Demetrius Andrade. He said, yeah, let's make that fight. He's been running his mouth. Let's go after him. Then he changed his tune. He said, well, Demetrius Andrade, he need to fight and beat Montiel before we can start to negotiate. Then he stated that he's a middleweight. He's not going up to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez or David Benavidez, but he wants to fight against Gennady Triple G Golovkin. Well, guess what? He may have just lost the opportunity because Demetrius Andrade beats him. Well, what route is Murata going to go? Okay, Murata will more than likely go the route of unification bout with Demetrius Andrade or vacate the belts, okay? So that would make for a Jamal Charlo Demetrius Andrade future fight big, but what route does Jamal Charlo go? There's also talks that Andrade was going to possibly fight Chris Eubanks Jr., so maybe Jamal Charlo gets to fight Chris Eubanks Jr. So we got to see how this unfolds and plays out, but as of right now, Demetrius Andrade, he announces that he'll be fighting Gennady Triple G Golovkin. He said, big drama show. Dazn is pushing for this fight. They're not willing to allow Gennady Golovkin to fight C and B level fighters for the amount of money he's making per fight, and they're pushing for this fight. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Make sure you hit the like button. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Bumgarner, you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.